Good evening, guys. I just want to confirm if I'm loud and clear. Today, we are going to discuss a very important topic which is related to DSA, and I don't see why I'm not live right now. As usual, I'm getting the advertisement, which is totally fine for me right now. Not sure. Okay. Okay. Yes. Awesome. So, guys. The goal of this live session is quite serious, and it is no DSA, no high pay job. There is a question mark also. Okay, there is a question mark also which I have inserted. Today we are going to discuss if you know DSA, what you can do. If you don't know DSA, what you can do. This is the defining moment. I cannot get a high paying job if I don't have DSA, if I don't have the skill set of DSA, if I talk about. So we will be discussing in detail related to this issue which majority of the students have related to DSA and like the problem they are facing with it. And finally, I'm going to clear all the doubts. Secondly, if you are watching me live right now, please make sure you use the question answers option, which is live chat. If I talk about the reason why we are live is that I can give you answer on the spot, so you don't have to wait for any answers. Secondly, as you can see, we are live every single day from Monday to Saturday at 9 p.m. So this is the great opportunity for you to actually leverage this thing. Last thing, officially we have a WhatsApp community where if you feel like that you need some questions and answers, obviously you can reach out to that official WhatsApp community and someone from our team will obviously help you out. Fine. So let's move forward and let's ask first of all the very basic question. What is DSA? So if I talk about DSA, so DSA stands for data structure and algorithm. Not a very difficult question to answer. But let's break this word, if I can say, data structure and algorithm into two parts. One is data structure and one is algorithm. So what is data structure? Data structure means how we save or process our data. As the name suggests, data structure. A simple example, we have 4 seats right now. Okay, we have 4 seats right now and we have 4 people, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they want to be seated, so obviously it is very easy for us to ask them to, hey, you can sit on this seat, you can go to this seat, this person can go to this seat, and this person can go to this seat. Very simple, not very complicated. But if we increase the complication, like, okay, this person wants to sit in this seat only, but he wants to be the first person to sit on this seat. Secondly, this person wants to sit in this seat, but he wants to make sure that he's the last person who is going to get seated. So this is where complication begins. If I want to give you a simple example, I would say there is a game on Google Play Store, Airport Simulator, if I talk about. In Airport Simulator, what happens? They have given us a scenario like some vehicle are there for petrol. Some are for passenger, if I talk about. Some are for repair. And I believe some are for repair. Yeah, so that's the scenario. Now planes are coming and now you have to manage. So like if someone wants to get diesel, you have to make sure that they are getting the diesel. Then the person, if they want to deboard the passenger, you have to deboard the passenger. And if they want to get repair, you have to make sure that they are getting repaired. And finally, they will take it off also. So the question here is quite simple. I mean, the scenario here is very simple. You have to manage a lot of things in an efficient way. So this is how we can say that we are talking about data structure. Second is algorithm. Now algorithm means how we make our program efficient. Now data structure is related to data, algorithm is related to almost anything. Most importantly, it is related to data only. An algorithm could be very simple algorithm. It can be if age is greater than 18, you can vote, else you cannot vote. This is an algorithm. It looks very simple. If else statement, this is an actual algorithm. A very small algorithm, but this is an algorithm. A second example I would give, Google search. Or a better example I can give of ChatGPT. So how does ChatGPT knows I have to answer in this fashion? How does ChatGPT know this question has to be answered in this fashion, this question has to be answered in this fashion? When we talk about one, what we are talking about. So this is algorithm, and this is where we make sure that we are making our program efficient, because if we can make our program efficient, we are actually helping a lot of people. So this is what overall DSA stands for, data structure and algorithm. Now let's move to the examples of DSA. Like, what is an example of DSA? What is an example of data structure? So what is a data structure? Data structure is a way of processing or storing the data. So the example is linked list. I believe everyone is aware of a linked list. Some linked list are singly list, some linked list are doubly list, which we are going to discuss in separate videos, but this is what a linked list is. Then we have stack, one over another. We have queue, we have array, and obviously we have others example as well, but I don't want to get into complication. So these following things are way of storing, or I would say processing data. A simple example is of array. So what is an array? So I'll give an example of, like, let's say house. So this house array has 50, age equals to int of 50. Again, I'm not using any programming language right now. So I can store 50 integer in a single array. I can store 50 integer in a single array. So what is happening? I'm storing my data, or I would say I'm processing the data in an efficient manner. So this is what array is. So this is, I would say, these are the example of data structure. Then moving forward, example of algorithm. So example of algorithm is sorting, recursion, searching. Sorting is obviously finding out which one is smallest, which one is bigger, kind of a thing. Recursion is finding something recursively, if I talk about. And then searching, so finding something from the haystack, if I talk about. You may ask this question, Avinash, why we are discussing this right now? You may ask this question, why we are discussing this right now? We are discussing this because you have to understand what is DSA, and is it useful for me in my professional world or not? That is why I'm discussing that. That is why these slides are there. Now, let's understand DSA with an example. Let's understand DSA with an example. Now, the example is quite simple. You have a crush, and your task is to search her, or I would say search their Instagram ID. Now, what you will do, you will type skillnagar. I'll assume skillnagar is your crush right now. You will type skillnagar. But Instagram is not just about skillnagar. Instagram has more than 2.1 billion users. And there is a good possibility that some of the username starts with SKI. Majority of the username starts with skill. So now you have to find out skillnagar handle based on 2.1 billion users. How will you do that? So first, you will store this username in a fashion so that it can be searched easily. A very simple example is storing those username in the way of alphabetical order from A to Z. But the question is, again, let's take an example. Let's say Avinash, that is my name. Does it mean that Avinash has to register before skillnagar on Instagram? If he does not do that, will it make a better experience for the Instagram users? No. So randomly, let's say a person with a name of Z, the person who has a name starting with Z can be the first user of Instagram. A person with a name starting with A can be the last user of Instagram. So this is where the complication comes in. I cannot store the data in a format so that it is in alphabetical order, because if it was in alphabetical order, it would be very easy for me to actually find out skillnagar. But that is the scenario, we cannot do that. So this is where we use the concept of data structure. How can I store my data so that it could be searched efficiently? Then we will use an algorithm. We will use an algorithm to actually find out this data. I mean, the user query which user has. Just give me a second. Let me clean out everything. Okay, so we will be using an algorithm to actually find out this data. I'll give you an example. Algorithm could be skillnagar. I want to search for skillnagar. Now, algorithm could be, did I watch the reels of skillnagar? Have I liked the content previously? Or is the user blocked by Instagram? User blocked by you? So these are various terms and conditions. If I talk about, these are various conditions based on which Instagram is deciding who should be at the top of your search. Now, the biggest important thing is your desired result has to be among top 5. Otherwise, you will say Instagram is useless. So try to understand, data structure is a way of storing and processing the data. Algorithm is a way with which we can find things efficiently or in a way so that it is restricted, or I would say efficient for our end user. So with these few slides, I wanted to mention about data structure and how it works and what is the importance of it. Hopefully you have understood, and I can see couple of people are watching this video. So please make sure whatever questions you have, put them in the comment section or chat section, whatever you want to call it, and I'll look into that. Now comes the question, if I'm good in DSA, what's the scenario? I'm very good in DSA. So what I can do, you can actually work in good companies. Now I don't want to name something which is known as a good company because I assume I'm working in a recruitment space, so I consider almost all companies as good unless they are scamming you. So all companies are good, like we cannot judge that, because they need people with DSA skills. That is a fact. If you go to Meta, if you go to Google and you say I have excelled in the skill set of DSA, CEO of the company will come to your house and to give you the offer letter. That is a fact. But the question is, I'm not good in DSA. So what is left for me? Do I even have the reason to stay alive? Yes, you have the reason to stay alive. Will I ever get a job? Yes, you will get a job. Will I get a high paying job? Yes, conditions apply. So let's discuss about it. So if you're not good with DSA, I would suggest you should have at least basic knowledge of DSA. The slides which I have covered, they cover the basic of DSA, not deep into DSA, but over, I would say, at a very surface level. I have completed what is DSA. Now, if you know the basic of DSA, you can get a job and earn a handsomely salary. Okay, you can earn handsomely salary. Secondly, you can go for jobs like front-end engineer. You can also go for full stack developer. And my preferred, or I would say my best way of saying a job is cloud engineer. Guys, just give me a second. Okay, I think I've lost it. Fine. Okay. I thought I was offline. Okay. So cloud engineer, what he does, he just manages the infrastructure. Probably you will never hear of this term Kubernetes, but if you are into container management, I don't think you will be needing DSA at a very hardcore level. But these people make a good amount of money. What is that amount of money? I'm not going to discuss it, but these people with this skill set make a good amount of money. So if you're not good in DSA, I would say get some basic knowledge of DSA and you can try for these roles. Now here in the full stack development, I have marked it at star because what I want to say here is In full stack development, some companies will require you for DSA, because what happens, full stack development is front end as well as back end, and in the back end majority of this magic happens. So companies would expect you to know basics of DSA. Now, one question when I was researching about this topic, one of the person asked this question: why do companies ask DSA question in fresher interview? If they know that students are not good in DSA, why do they even ask this question, or I would say questions related to DSA? So first of all, try to understand one thing: DSA is a concept, it's not a language, it's not a software which you have to learn. If I am an Azure certified developer, if I am an Azure AI certified professional, that means I have to learn Google Cloud, that means I have to learn AWS Cloud. But if I know DSA, that means I can code DSA in Java, I can code DSA in C++, I can code DSA in Python or JavaScript, whatever you prefer. So DSA is a concept which does not require you to learn a single language or a software. Secondly, companies use DSA to understand how hardworking you are, because see, DSA is a very complex concept. I would not say it's a very complex concept, but it is an important concept. Now, since it is not tied up to a single language, like I'll give you an example. A recruiter, you have applied for a job and a recruiter says, do you know Java? You will say, no, I don't know Java. I don't know PHP. I don't know Python. They also know this, because you're a fresher. You cannot be an expert. This kind of a question they can ask for someone who has 15 years of experience, but they should not be asking you this question, because they also understand you don't have this kind of an experience. So what they do, they use DSA to understand how serious you are, because DSA is not related to any language. DSA is a concept. If you can explain what is a bubble sort, you are a winner. If you can explain what is a linked list, you are a winner. If you can explain how you can efficiently search the data among 2.1 billion users, you are thorough with DSA. So companies ask for DSA related questions in an interview for a very simple reason, and that is because it is not a language or a software, it is a concept which can be learned and which can be mastered. So please make sure, do not make this mistake of ignoring DSA. I would not say that you should be learning it, you have to learn it, and without that nothing can happen. But yes, since it is there, please make sure that you're learning it. So in conclusion, I would say without DSA, high paying jobs are possible, but that does not mean that you should skip DSA altogether. This is my personal advice. Personally, if I talk about, I have never learned about DSA, but I have implemented DSA in various products I have built. So please make sure that you are learning this concept in a very important way. So guys, with this, I would say I would be concluding this session. If you have some questions, please post them in the comment section so you will get the answer. With this, I hope you understood this concept, and in future, or I would say right now, if you have any questions, please make sure that you're posting them in the comment section and you will get all the response. So with this guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.